Pamela E. Bloomfield, your certified transformational life coach, author, speaker, and your biggest believer that life gets better with every single chapter. If you are new here, flip a chair. This is a space for women over 40 who are done playing small and ready to live boldly, on purpose, without apology. Because I tell you, bold has no age limit when your back is against the wall and your gift is waiting. So today I want to tell you about the moment when my back was against the wall. Not a metaphorical wall, a real one. The kind where you look around and you say, okay, this is it. You either swim or drown. This is the moment. Either you move or get moved. And out of that moment came authorship, came coaching, came this show, the MindShift show, turning mindsets into ICAN, and everything you're listening to right now. But here's the part that I don't talk a lot about. I almost did not move because even with everything I knew, everything I had lived, everything I had to offer, I still had to fight the voice that kept saying to me, who do you think you are? And I hear the same voice in the women I talk to every single week. Women who are qualified, women who gave everything they had to their careers, to their families, to communities. Women who have more than enough proof that they matter, and they still wonder if they are worthy, if the possibilities that are knocking on their door are really for them. That there's a gap between your evidence and your belief, and what it costs you to keep living in it. So let's talk about that today. Let me take you back to the moment when my back was against the wall. I had a career, I had a life that looked great from the outside, but inside, I knew there was something more, something I was supposed to be doing, a message I was supposed to be carrying. And I kept waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, you know what I mean, the right sign that I was ready. Then my back hit the wall. An entire week in the hospital, not knowing if I would have made it back home. And suddenly, waiting was no longer an option. That pressure, as uncomfortable as it felt, as uncomfortable as it was, became the very thing that pushed me into authorship, into coaching, into building what was fully, unapologetically mine. You know what I learned? The wall was not my enemy. The wall became my assignment. And I tell you this, that diamonds don't form in comfort. I learned that. They form under pressure. And some of us need that pressure to finally stop negotiating with our purpose and start walking in it. Now, I share that not to be dramatic about my journey, but because I talk to I talk to women every single week who are standing right at their own wall, and they don't recognize it for what it is. They think the weight is a stop sign. But I'm here to tell you this: that weight is your starting point. Here's what I kept encountering, like in conversations in my community, in the messages that land in my inbox. Women who have spent decades pouring into their professions, their organizations, their families, their communities, women with titles, with track records, with rooms full of people who trusted them with the hard things, who still walk around feeling like they're not enough. I'm talking about women with proof. Yeah, real, lived, undeniable proof that they are making a difference. And they still cannot receive it as evidence of their worth. Think about that for a second. People brought their problems to you. You got promotions. You were sitting at the head of the table. You were running an organization voluntarily, responsibly, repeatedly, you name it. And some still wake up wondering if they are enough. Now, before you point at someone else, I want to ask you this question, and I want you to ask yourself: where do you have evidence sitting right in front of you that you keep refusing to look at? Because this is not a new professional problem. This is not a young woman problem. I see it in women 45, 55, 65, and beyond. Women who have been around long enough to know better and still fight this battle every single day. And I will tell you what I tell them every time. This is not a confidence problem. It's not. This is a belief problem. And no moment of strategy, no planning or preparation will fix it. That requires a different kind of work, different kind of work. And most coaches will ask you to tell their story. That's the thing. Tell me your story. What is the story behind that? And I understand why, because story creates connections, right? But I want you to do something different today, because for every woman I am talking to, you have already told that story. You have lived it, you've processed it, and you've carried it long enough. What no one has asked you to do is look at your evidence. So, inside my ICAN framework, I teach something called the evidence versus the story. And here's where I part ways with conventional coaching. I'm not going to ask you what your story is, I'm going to ask you what your evidence is. The boardroom decisions that you made under pressure, the family you held together when everything was falling apart, the career you built while being everything to everyone. Remember those? The crisis you managed that no one knew about, that no one could solve but you. That is not just your past. That is your proof. That is your data. That is the foundation your purpose is built on. And most women in this season they're still letting an old story override their lived experience. And that is the work we do differently here. Fear, fear tells you a story, doesn't it? And that story sounds very convincing because it has been playing in your head for a very long time. It sounds like, who am I to do this? What if they find out I do not really know what I'm talking about? What if I step all the way in and it falls apart? That is the story. And it feels real, doesn't it? But it is not evidence. It is not evidence. It is fear dressed up as logic. Now, here's what I want you to understand about evidence. And this is important. Evidence is not about waiting for someone to validate what you already know. Evidence is what you know. It is internal, it belongs to you. It is a problem you solve that no one else in the room could. It is a meeting that you walked into and it shifted just by you being fully present. It is the wisdom you carry, forged through decades of living, surviving, pivoting, and growing that someone younger is still out here searching for. That is not someone else's opinion of you, it is your track record. And it belongs to you whether anyone puts it in writing or not. So here's your homework. I want you to sit with these three questions. Really, really sit with them. Take your time with them. Number one, what have I done that required real skill and real courage? Number two, what do I know from lived experience that no one else knows or that someone else is searching for? And number three, what does that tell me about the story that fear has been writing in my head? Because, my friends, clarity does not come before you start. I know you heard me say that before. Clarity comes because you start. And so the evidence has already been building inside of you. You just have not been letting yourself own it. And did you know there's a real cost for staying small? Mhm. I want to get real with you for a moment, just for a moment. Every day you spend arguing with your own evidence is a day someone who needs you goes without what only you can give them. Your gift was never just for you. It was designed for you, but it was not just for you to hold on to and keep and not share. It was for the woman sitting in the meeting wondering if she is the only one who feels this way. It was for the daughter who is watching how you carry yourself. It was for the colleague who needs someone to show her it is possible to walk boldly into this season of life without shrinking. Yes, your gift is waiting for you. And I know the fear that it feels very protective. I personally know it. Personally, it feels like humility to downplay what you know and what you have survived and what you have built. Newsflash, it is not humility, it is hiding. And hiding helps no one. I had to learn that. And this is the reason why I created this podcast. I want you to know you did not come this far. And for everything that you have been through, you didn't come this far to play small. in your most powerful season. This is your crowned season. Not the warm up, not the almost. It is the most fully formed, most purposeful, most powerful version of you. And you have already earned the right to walk in it fully, boldly, and without apology. So let me ask you directly, what are you still waiting for? Not the dream, not the wisdom or the vision you've been carrying for years. What are you personally waiting for before you give yourself full permission to step in? Because I'm here to tell you this. The permission slip is not coming from the outside. It's coming from inside you. It has to come from you. And sometimes you need someone in your corner to help you to find it. And guess what? That is exactly what my clarity sprint is for. My clarity sprint is a focused 75-minute one-on-one session where we cut through the noise, identify what is actually keeping you back, what is actually keeping you stuck, so that you can walk out with a clear and bold step. I'm all about the word bold. And if you have been getting my newsletters, which I hope you have, if you have not, please send me a DM so I can add you to the list. The name of my newsletter that comes out bi-weekly is called Still Bold. Yes, I want you to walk out of my clarity sprint session with a clear and bold next step. No fluff, no fillers, just you, me, and the truth about what you're capable of. So head over to Coaching Your Growth, www.coachingyourgrowth.com to book your spot. I'll also put the link in my show notes. Listen, do not wait until you feel ready because you'll never feel ready. You will never feel fully ready because someday is not promised. So book it now and then let the readiness catch you up. So before I let you go, I want to bring it back to where we started. My back was against the wall, and instead of crumbling, I created. I wrote. I built. I stepped into the very thing that fear had been telling me I was not ready for. And I'm so glad I did it. Because on the other side of that wall was everything that God purposed me for. It was already there. I just had to finally believe it. So I want you to know today that your wall might look different from mine. Everyone's wall is different. But the choice is the same. You can let fear write your story, or you can look at what you have already lived, what you already know, and finally walk in it. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner, and I will see you right here next week. Yes. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it also. Leave a review if you have not yet already. It helps the show to reach more women who are ready to live boldly. So until next time, my friend, please stay still, bold. Remember, I'm rooting for you.